Hey everybody, Matt Barton with this week's Broker Minute or Two. And today I want to talk about one of our most notorious topics, which is procuring cause. During the course of my week, I have a lot of conversations with agents, and they tend to give me material to share with the greater group of REMAX associate agents. So if you are in the business for any amount of time, you probably have run across this, are running across this, or will run across this. And so I wanted to use an example that was shared with me this past week because our agent did a good job. And what defines doing a good job? Well, let's start off with when you start working with a client, the division of real estate says, get your agency in writing. It's not a would you please, it's you shall. And if you don't, then things become problematic, including trying to pursue procuring costs. So the example that was shared with me this week, our agent worked with a client for well over a year, had their home listed and had buyer agency in place. The buyer's agency is still in place and the relationship's good. Their listing has expired, but they're still interested in looking around and trying to find another home. All right. So enter a Zillow agent, right? Well, before the Zillow agent enters, our client reached out to our agent and said, hey, I found this property, kind of interested in it. Let's talk about it. They had some discussion. And over the weekend, they're perusing Zillow and they find, oh, look, there's a Zillow Premier agent. Call and talk to them and said, oh, I can totally show you that property. There's problem number one. Anytime you have somebody that just shows up on your doorstep who's looking, the first question out of your mouth should be, do you have agency with somebody? Have you signed an agency agreement with somebody else? That wasn't done. And as a result, the Zillow agent took them out and showed them this property, and they really got excited about it. And they came back to our agent the following week and said, hey, we found this property, and we'd really like to write an offer on this. And then, of course, the question is, well, how did you see the property? Oh, this wonderful premier Zillow agent showed it to us. And as you might imagine, shortly after that, there's a phone call that says, hey, I showed these people this house. I understand they want to write an offer, but they're going to write it with you and some version of, well, I think I'm the procuring cause here because I showed them the home, and so you need to pay me some money. All right, so let's dissect this quickly. The fact that he didn't ask about agency that did exist, the Division of Real Estate in Utah has an administrative rule that says you're not to interfere with an exclusive agency relationship if you know or should have known that it existed. Well, how would you know or should you know? By asking the question. And if somebody tells you they don't, get them to send you a text or an email or something that says they told me that they didn't have an agent. Well, in this case, good relationship between our client and our agent, and they came back and told him everything that gone. I said, no, we totally told the guy we have an agent, and so the agent's wanting to be paid a referral fee, and so that was my discussion with our agent. And as we dissected it and asked certain questions, it's clear that agent isn't entitled to anything. At a 30,000 foot view, the definition of procuring causes, you must be the initiating event, making them aware of a property. They didn't. The Zillow agents did not make it aware of the property. They told our agent about it, had discussion about it. At that point, he becomes the procuring cause. Even if they found it, the fact that he was at the front end before any other agent, he becomes the initiating event. Then the other part of that definition is you must have an uninterrupted sequence of events acting as their agent that concludes in a closed transaction. Well, fundamentally, if there's agency already in place, that is known as an interruption. And if there's an interruption in that sequence of events, then there is no procuring cause. So last thing I wanted to show you is just this isn't always as clean cut as people think. And so I just wanted to share this with you. NAR puts out a 200-page manual. First 100 pages deals with code of ethics and how to have hearings on that. And I've been on these panels for 10 years. I've chaired them. Sometimes they're entertaining. Sometimes they're just flat out sad that people are so oblivious to what the rules are. But the point I wanted to show you is in this document. Let me see if I can go up here. Yeah. So in one of the appendixes under arbitration, there's a whole bunch of paperwork on procuring cause. And this is the worksheet that we work from a lot of time as a hearing panel. And just to point this out to you, here are some of the things that NAR says we should consider when somebody makes a claim about procuring cause. And it's not one page, it's not 2 pages, it's 3 pages of things that you should be paying attention to as the hearing panel, and using that as criteria to establish if somebody is in fact, like the Zillow agent was claiming, that he's the procuring cause. So hopefully that gives you a little better understanding of what is and what isn't procuring cause. And furthermore, hopefully it gives you a little insight, as this isn't a slam dunk. It's quite a process. And my advice to you, as always, is avoid the conflict in the first place if you have the ability. Sometimes it's just forced upon us and we get to deal with it, as in this situation. But the good news is our agent did what he was supposed to do, and it makes pretty short order of it, and we don't even have to go to a procuring cause hearing. All right, that's it, guys. I hope you have a great week, and we will talk with you soon.